Hey, welcome back, my awesome students. So on this lecture, we need to do a couple things before we start using the Stripe API. We're going to have to modify some of the data, or not just modify, add some data, some columns into our database. Okay, some not different tables, but different columns in the table. So in our products table, I want you to see how it looks on my end so you can do it. Okay. So we're going to have the product ID, which is the one that's auto increment, that's integer. You should have those there. And then we're going to have a new column called stripe underscore product underscore ID. This is going to be a varchar 200. And then it's going to be null. All right, we're going to be able to leave it by empty if we wanted to. Okay. Then we're going to have an active or status. Okay. We should just call this status, but it's already called active, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Product underscore title, you should have that. There's a varchar 255. Make sure that that one is not null. Product underscore category, that you have that one. So the one that you might not have is this one, stripe underscore product underscore price. Make sure you have the product underscore quantity. The price is going, the Stripe product price is a varchar 250. Okay. Make sure that that's what that is. Short description, short underscore description. You have that as text and the product underscore image. So go ahead and pause this video and look at the types and make sure you have those columns just the way I have them. Okay. Orders. So as you can see, I modified this a little bit. Order ID is an int, of course, the auto increment, you should have that. And then we have stripe underscore session underscore ID. That's a varchar 200. The sessions, the IDs coming from Stripe are going to be like in strings of text. They're not integers. So we need a type there of varchar. Order underscore amount, integer 11, order, transaction. All this can be null. You can see that. So when you're creating a column here, make sure that the default, it's null. Okay. Simple as that. Okay. So make sure you pause that and do this. Mostly varchar, all of them except the order amount and the order ID. Okay. Reports. Okay. So make sure that you have these like I have. So pause the video and create these columns. Very easy to do in PHP-MyAdmin, right? Okay. We have one here called stripe underscore product underscore customer ID. That's just to pull the information from the customer. We have a couple stripes here. Okay. So it slides. I don't think I changed this. I think it's the same. Users is the same. Just orders, products, and reports. Okay. All right. So once you have that, let's go back here. And the reason why we're going to be doing this is because when we add a product here, we want to be able to also create it in Stripe. I really did not have to do that, but to make our application work better, I said, why not, right? So we want to be able to create the product here, but insert some data in Stripe. And it's going to be really awesome because I love their API. So I have a couple products here, and by the way, there is no way to delete products from here, from Stripe. At this point, at the point that I'm actually recording this video, there is no way, okay? And if you click here, you can archive the product. That's the only way that you can hide it from here. I have a whole bunch of products that I created playing around. Look at that. And they archived, okay? So if you don't want it, you want to see it here or want to make it inactive, make sure you put it archived. Or you can edit the product, but archive is the best option, all right? So we're going to create products and they're going to show up here. So now let's go ahead and start creating one. So I'm going to go to the functions. I believe that's where we create the products. And I'm going to look for the function add product. Okay. All right. So let's see where we're going to add this. I think it's good to do it after we create the product, right? So that way we have the information. Maybe before we redirect anywhere else. So we're we got a new product. Before we redirect to product, it would be nice to do that, even though I don't think it's going to affect our code once we redirect. But I'm going to do it in between this here. All right. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to access our Stripe API. Okay. But the best way to do this, putting this in a try catch. So this try catch is going to catch any errors that's produced by our code, and is going to give us the option to, of course, look at it and fix it. In PHP and many other programming languages, you have this try catch. By default, you have this exception, and you just name it whatever you want. You can name it exception, or you can name it E, like some people do. All right. But I'm just going to name it like that. And this exception basically is the code that fails, okay? Why your code is failing. And you can try this with anything. It doesn't have to be Stripe. It could be anything, okay? Any code that you want to try, even a connection to the database, you can do it like this. So the first thing that we need to do is instantiate an object with our secret key. So that way we can get that code from Stripe. So I'm going to create a variable here to hold this new object, okay? And this is object-oriented programming, guys, so keep that in mind, okay? And I have a course on that. It would be good for you to know this if you're building really advanced applications. It's called OOP, Object-Oriented Programming. So I'm going to access the Stripe client, and in here I'm going to pass my environment variable called Stripe. So we access that with this. Okay, any environment variable in PHP, you access it with this. Okay, this is just not new. This is not new to Stripe. It's just the way that we are using this. So it's the secret key here. Remember that. Okay, and that's in our environment variable file. Remember, that's where that is. And now that we have this object, you can go ahead and var dump it if you want, just to make sure you have something. Okay, but I know that my code should work, so I'm not gonna play around with it anyway and waste more time. So I'm gonna use another variable here called product to hold what I'm going to create. I'm gonna use their API, and this is written in the documentation, Stripe products, create, and we pass an array here, okay, with the information that we want. This is something they're expecting. They're expecting a name. So we put that in there, okay? I believe here we just pass in an empty. Let me see why that, it's failing because I haven't finished actually doing this. So, so we're gonna pass in, let me see what I got here that I could use. I can use the product title, the product that we just created, right? I mean that we're getting from the form. By the way, guys, you don't have to escape images here. So if you want, you can just do that and you don't have to escape that. Anyway, let's go and use description here. Description, and that would be the product description. And here we can pass some metadata. Metadata is extra information that we can that they allow us to pass in. Information that could be anything we want. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm gonna put the product ID in there somehow, right? So this product ID would be the one that we are creating in our database. Okay, we can name this whatever we want. I just named it last ID, so I'm just gonna put that there. What else? You can basically put whatever you want in here. They really don't care what you want to put in there. And this would be product quantity, and maybe I want the short description available. Description. And that would be short disk. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, what else? By the way, here we can echo out the exception with this get message method that PHP offers to us. Okay, now this is going to create a product. The problem is once this product is created, it's not going to have a price. But let's test it out first, just to make sure that it works. And then we're going to associate this product with the price. Because in Stripe, every time you create a product, you can create a product without a price. Okay, it's just not going to have a price. But what we're going to do is we're going to access the price object and we're going to associate it with this product. Okay, you can see the metadata right here. You see? So we can put whatever we want in there. Okay, let's go back here. Let's just test this out to see if it works, because we wrote quite a little bit of code here and we don't know if it works. So I'm going to say my first product from Stripe API here. And guys, if you see me typing slow, it's because I type so much in my life that I believe I have like arthritis or something in my hands and my fingers are very slow. If you guys have any recommendation, if you have the same problem and know how to fix it, let me know please, because my fingers are super slow. Anyway, product price, it could be, let's say $500 and actually $495. Short description. All right, so one thing here, and I think I can go below 0 here. One thing that I'm going to recommend is for you to put a limit on these fields, of number fields. Okay, this is in the add product. Let's just go to that page. This is the back, and add product somewhere here, I believe. And we have this number, and it has a max field that we can just say, hey, this is the max amount that you are allowed to put in there. But I'm going to put a minimum amount of 0. And now if you go back to it, if you try to go below 0 here, it's not going to allow you. Okay, so you might want to put that in there. And it also has a max allowed. Okay, so anyway, it's just a little bit of a... So let's just test this out real quick. And I have some data there. I'm just going to write from Stripe. I'm not going to write again too much stuff. Description and short. And I'm just going to put 500 in here. Category watches. And we have 20 of these. Let's choose an image. Choose watch 3 or 4 and publish. Okay, that watch was added. Let's check our API to see if we have that. And you can see that it says from Stripe, but it has no prices. Okay, and that was created just today, just right now. So no price. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to actually associate this. As a matter of fact, let's do it right now, guys. Let's do it. Come on, we got the time, right? Let's do it. So let me see what I need here. So what we need is the product ID. Okay, so let's create another variable here called, because this is going to give us the product that we create from Stripe. That's why I put this variable here, so that I can catch whatever is created. So it's going to give us that new object with some information that we can pull. So I'm just going to say product ID, just like that. And I'm going to assign it that ID that I get when I create that project. And that's what we need to create to create a new object, because we need to create a new object to associate this. It's going to be a price object. Okay, so it's going to be Stripe prices, and create the same thing we did with products, and then here we create a price for it. Unit amount. Remember, they're expecting this field. This is something that the object is supposed to have. Okay, you can find this in the documentation. And whatever price. Right here is product price, and What else? Whatever information. This object, I'm going to show you later on how you can get a whole bunch of data from it, so that way you know what you want to put in here. But it has a whole bunch of things. In the documentation, you should see the object more. But I have some other stuff that I'm going to show you later that is going to allow you to get this information in your terminal. So this would be the product ID. So let's just put the product ID in there too, in the metadata in here. Yeah, this should actually be it, because if it needs to know what product this price is going to be associated with. So we need the product ID that we are relating that to. Okay, and that's this guy right here. Now what I need is I need to update the product with the price ID, and that's in our database. So let's go and make a query here before the catch, and I'm just going to call this update product. And that's why I wanted to do this on another lecture, guys, because it was going to take me a little bit, but it's okay. So I'm going to make a query here. Remember, we make this function, and it's going to be update products set, and we have this field in the products. Remember that we created that in the last lecture. It's called product price. Okay, and so we are going to update that. We're going to set that to the price ID. And how can we get the price ID? Well, we get it from this guy right here, right? If we save this in a variable, let's just do that. Stripe product price object. Okay, so I'm gonna get this guy here, and what I'm gonna do is, there we go. I'm just gonna basically override this right here. Okay, actually I'm gonna call it something different. Okay, Stripe product ID. Okay, let's use this guy here. Put the quotes around it because it's going to be a string. So we're going to set that there. We basically updating our products table, okay, that we have. So now we also want to update the Stripe product ID. We're going to set that to the this guy right here. Why is my database doing this? All right, let's my database is not connected in my IDE. Usually I connected it and I can see it right here. I can do things to it. That's why I like this IDE, because I can play around with the database. I don't have to use PHPMyAdmin. But now that we have the product ID, we are gonna say, hey, where the product ID equals the last ID. Okay, and that should be it. Okay, and make sure that we confirm that query with our function that we created, and there we go. All right, we wrote a lot of code here. Okay, let's see if it works. Let's test it. So in our database, we can see I have a whole bunch of products here, which I'm going to delete. Actually, I don't have that many. Oops, hold on. So I'm going to I'm gonna delete all of them. Okay. All right. Let's go to our application. And if I refresh, there is no products. Watch 1. I'm gonna make this fast, guys. Sorry about the long video, but I wanted to give you guys as much as possible. Short description, quantity, and image. There we go. And I'm going to give you these images in this section, guys. So look for those resources. Always make sure you look for them. I'm going to publish that. And let's go to the API dashboard. And if I refresh, you can see that we do have a watch, right? And we have the associated price with it. You can see it right here, pricing. So we were able to create a price for it. That's awesome. Now, do you see a problem? Well, it's in cents. Look at that. Okay. So we want this to not be in cents, because in Stripe API, when you it's always in cents. Okay. So it would be like 1,500 cents or something like that for $15 or something like that, if my math serves me correct. Or yeah, it should be like 1,500. But anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let me see if I can. This unit amount, we have to convert this into something else. Okay, let's do this all the way up here, where let's grab it from our database. Let's grab this product price and play a little bit with it. So I'm going to show you something here real quick. Okay, pay attention. I'm going to use the number format. Okay, this is a function that's going to allow us to format the number. Let's save this in a variable, and I'm going to call this 2 zeros. All right, price. I'm just going to call it like this. Don't worry too much about that number name. So I'm going to, this is going to have decimals, so I'm going to have 2 decimals here. It's going to also have a decimal separator. It's going to be, I'm just going to leave it with nothing there, okay? And thousand separator, nothing. Actually, I'm just going to add 2 zeros here, okay? And that should give me those 2 extra zeros that I need for Stripe to actually give me what I need, I believe. All right, if I'm not mistaken. All we need to add is 2 extra zeros, because it was 15 cents. So let's do that here, and let's just try this again and see if it works. Let's cross our fingers and make sure it works. Watch 2 description, and product price 455. And quantity maybe 5. Let's choose watch 2. Okay, I'm gonna give you those resources, guys, so make sure that you look for in the lectures in this section. Let's come back here and refresh. Let's do the products, and you can see it says watch 2 and it says $455. All right, so the next thing that we need to check is our database to see if we got some of these products updated there. All right, we're gonna browse, and we can see that we do have this information here. Okay, look at this, watch 1 and watch 2. We have the information from Stripe in there, right here and right there. Awesome. All right, guys, sorry for the lecture. I know it was kind of long, over 20 minutes. That's crazy on my end. I'm gonna make it shorter next time. Okay, I promise. See you in the next lecture.